brihaspatayé namaha. Brim brihaspatayé namaha. Swasti na brihaspatirdhadatu. Brim brihaspatayé namaha. Swasti na brihaspatirdhadatu. Brim brihaspatayé namaha. Swasti na brihaspatirdhadatu. Namaskaram, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Massage and Message series. It's a wonderful week, starting from today's Brahaspati Jayanti, which very few people are aware of and celebrate, unfortunately, because it's one of the most profound events, as we shall see in today's episode, which is primarily dedicated to Brahaspati Jayanti. Tomorrow we will have the véda-vyāsa Jayanti, along with the Soma Pradosha, very special indeed. Véda-vyāsa considered to be an avatar of Vishnu, and Brihaspati as well. And on Tuesday, the very next day, we will have the soura nara-simhā Jayanti. That's the birthday of nara-simhā aspect of ourselves, the half lion, half man aspect, according to the solar calendar. And Wednesday would be Buddha Purnima, which of course is the enlightenment day of Buddha. It's also said to be the birthday and the day when he gave the first sermon. But much before Buddha was to appear on this planet, it was the Agi Hunnime, the same day, Wednesday, Agi Hunnime. Also the Ardhanarishvara Vrata of the Adi Guru, Dakshinamurti, giving half his body to his spouse Parvati, which essentially means recognizing that our feminine power is one half of ourselves, irrespective of our gender, and the masculine matter being the other half. This holds for every one of us. Just that we have not yet recognized that, whereas the Jivan Muktas have. And Friday would be Naradā Jayanti, but of course I would get an opportunity to meet up you all for that with the great music of Srimati Vasanta Kumari Sampath on her channel. Today we are on Katham.in channel with the Massage and Message series. I just got out of my 45-hour mōhini Ekadashi fast. And mōhini is again a very special avatar of our own everythingness. As you know, our own everythingness is centered in our Untitled Chakra at the heart. And when it does an avatar, it either descends or ascends. This time it just descends by one chakra to create an entity called Manikanta Dharmashasta Ayyappa at the Manipuraka Chakra. An entity which needed two masculine entities to get together to create, and therefore our own everythingness took on the feminine form of mōhini to partner with the masculine nature of our own nothingness at the Sahasrara to give birth to our duty consciousness in all its fiery glory at the Manipuraka. And that's the significance of the Mōhini Avatara. Even before it could give birth to this principle of duty consciousness, of course, it saved our own nothingness from its innocent nature of generosity, even where it's not actually required. Our own nothingness was so generous that it granted a boon to our tamasic nature, that whatever it touches could be reduced to ashes. And our own tamasic nature was so elated by this boon that it went on to touch our own nothingness from right below the Mooladhara all the way up to the Sahasrara. And our own nothingness had to run for cover. And our own everythingness came to the rescue by taking on a feminine form of Mōhini, enticing our own tamasic nature of lethargy, laziness, and procrastination to dance with it by inciting lust in it, and therefore eventually a dance step where Mōhini puts her head in contact with her hands, and the step is repeated by our tamasic guna, copying our own everythingness feminine form, and then our own tamasic nature gets burnt out, and then our own everythingness comes in synergy with our own nothingness to give birth to the principle of duty consciousness, righteousness, which still burns at our gut as the gut feeling. So that was the significance of the 45-hour fast that I just completed on Dwadashi today, to wake up to an even more beautiful concept of Brahaspati Jayanti. Before that, one more tidbit about Mōhini, of course, is the fact that she's not only responsible for the creation of our principle of righteous duty consciousness, but also for our ultimate spirituality of Ketu. But of course, a twin was created along with it, namely our illusion called Rahu. Yes, the Rahu-Ketu principle of the southern and northern lunar nodes essentially was born out of, again, our tamasic nature, which was trying to cheat our soul and mind, symbolized by the sun and the moon at the Agnya Chakra, the right eye being the sun or the soul, the left eye being the mind or the moon. And they were quick to spot this tamasic nature coming in between them, which means at the Agnya Chakra, where the third eye is supposed to be, quick to act our own everythingness in its feminine glory of Mōhini, which means delusion, female personified, because moha is delusion, and Mōhini is the feminine version of that, when our own everythingness assumes that form wantingly. Wantingly. And our mind was alert enough, along with our soul and pointed out our tamasic nature entering the Agnya Chakra in the guise of a rajasic guna, and therefore seeking immortality in the form of the amrita that mōhini was to disburse. Quick to act, mōhini brought out the auspicious vision of the cyclicity of life, namely the Sudarshana Chakra, and chopped off our tamasic nature once again. So much so that one half of it went below the Muladhara Chakra as our own illusion, Rahu, and the other half went up above the, not world so high, but even the Sahasrara Chakra to the 8th Chakra of the Matru Pitrus to form Ketu. Ketu kulasyo unnatim, Rahur bahubalam karotu vipulam. So the Ketu factor, which is the mystical nature of ourselves, represented, of course, the most mystic of creatures, the cobra snake, as the head of the tamasic guna, to create the mystical Ketu above the Sahasrara at the Matrupitru Chakra, bestowing spirituality, burning up all materialism, because we are already beyond the body at the Sahasrara, and coming to Matrupitru Loka, we are into the metaphysicality that is beyond the physicality, unbounded, unlimited, and therefore all material is transformed into the Ketu principle of mystical energy. No different from Mahakali's dark energy. And this is essential to go up even further from the 8th chakra of the Matrupitrus and Ketu all the way up to the 9th chakra of the Guru Gayatri. And that's the same chakra of Guru Brahaspati. So that brings us to today's special occasion of Brahaspati Jayanti. Yes, some people break it up that way. As Brihas meaning, of course, a form of Briha, like in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad or the Brihadishvara temple. You know, anything Brihat means not just big, but huge and massive. In fact, all-encompassing, like our own everythingness. That's essentially what brihaspati, that kind of a breakup means. But we could also break up the same thing to understand it in a different facet or perspective. That is as briha and spati. Briha again meaning massive, and spati meaning the spirit. So in this sense, brihaspati means the spirit of the vast universe and multiverse. So the universe is mostly seen by scientists as matter, dark matter, dark energy, and a very little amount of the chemicals of the periodic table. But the universe has multiple facets to it, and the Maharishis or great seers see all those aspects. And one of them born out of our own creativity at the Vishuddhi Chakra, the Saraswati Brahma principle, is the Maharishi Angiras. Angi or Anga essentially means our body parts or limbs or just parts of anything for that matter. And Rasa is the chemistry or the elements of it or the very essence of it. And his wife, Surasa. Angirasa, Surasa. Or Surupa, as she's called in other places, which is an auspicious form. So, when our auspicious form combines with the parts of our essence, what is created is brihaspati. Yes, Angiras and Surupa were the parents of Brihaspati, also known as the Deva Guru, which essentially means he removes the darkness for the divinely resplendent, showing them the path, which essentially means the guru of our rajasic gunas, of our passionate aggression. It needs certain discipline, and that discipline is brought forth by Brihaspati. Brihaspati, by his very name, is so massive that he is responsible for all the schools of philosophy, the 6 darshanas that Sanatana Dharma encompasses. So which means he is the one who is the giver of theism as well as atheism, non-theism, monotheism, dual theism, plural theism, whatever theism or non-theism you have. It's all the contribution of Devaguru Brihaspati. Such a profound entity is an aspect of ourself at the Swadhisthana Chakra, which is owned by Brihaspati. In one of his manifestations as the planet Jupiter, the biggest of the planets, with a cycle of 12 years, as observed from an Earth-fixed reference frame, Jupiter takes 12 years to cover the entire zodiac of 12 signs from Aries to Pisces, or the 27 nakshatras equivalently, as I've explained in a previous episode of mEs-sage and mEs-sage. You can check that out. Of these, Jupiter is said to own Sagittarius or Dhanur and Pisces or Meena Rashis. Rashis literally mean treasures. So the treasures of the zodiac are divided between the 7 consumers or grahas, of which Jupiter is one, and both Dhanur and Meena are encountered at our watery Svādhisthāna chakra, a couple of inches below our navel, but right behind, in the spinal cord within the backbone of our subtle body. That is owned by Jupiter, a specific form of our spirit of vast nature, Brihaspati. But is he happy there? Well, being in a own house can give happiness to the mundane people, but Brihaspati is actually debilitated in the Mūladhara chakra, one step below. Though he has a lot of similarity with Ganapati, having a Gajavahana instead of a Gajamukha. But being the weakest at the Mūladhara, he's slowly gaining strength, coming up to the Svādhisthāna, his own house, be it in a retrograde sense to Dhanur, Sagittarius, or in a prograde status from Makara to Kumbha, and finally to Pisces or Meena. But actually, our principle of Guru Tattva, the redemption of darkness, is exalted only when it reaches the Agnya Chakra, in particular the Karkataka Rashi, owned by our mind, the moon, at the left eye. So the journey from debilitation to exaltation has just begun when the ownership is experienced. And that is the yellowish nature of our watery Svādhisthāna, very closely related to the Agnya, because Agnya is Adi Parashakti Parvati, and she gave the valorous veil to our own valor. Muruga, Skanda, Kartikeya, Shanmukha, who is also Guru Guha, by the way, at the Svādhisthāna. So you see the multiple significances of the Guru Tattva at the Svādhisthāna chakra, where we are still in the Rajasic nature, right in the peak of the Rajasic nature, Mūladhara, Svādhisthāna and Manipura, and then growing up further. So that's the wonderful nature of our Guru, whose actual position is, as I said, the 9th chakra of the Guru Gayatri. Guru means darkness redeemer. And it's not a person outside us, though we can see a Guru amongst those living or those who have lived in the past. So many Gurus, countless number of self-realized souls, but essentially they're all reflections of our own Guru Tattva at our own 9th chakra, the Guru Gayatri chakra, that which protects us as the singer, Gayatri, Gayantrayatiti Gayatri. And that Guru, in the form of Brihaspati, the Guru of not only the Devas, but the origin of everything that is known as part of the Sanatana Dharma, be it Bhakti Yoga, Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Raja Yoga, Sankhya Yoga, beyond Yoga, the Tantra or Siddha, Advaita, Dvaita, Vishishta, Dvaita. For everything, though there might be other well-known gurus like Adi Shankaracharya, Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, etc., Patanjali. But the ultimate source for them all is Brihaspati, who himself is sourced from Angirasa and Surupa, as I already mentioned to you, which in turn is from our own creativity, Saraswati Brahma at the Vishuddhi Chakra. And Brihaspati, having our own creativity for its grandpa, can't afford being non-creative. And he has been so massively creative, having created the entire university that he was of all of Sanatana Dharma, the eternal principle of righteousness. But not only that, goes far beyond that too. To beget children, including the most famous of them all, one of the Saptarishis, Bharadwaja Maharishi. And he in turn is responsible for the medical systems of Ayurveda, which is one of the Upaveda, apart from many other Vedic mantras, and a Gotra or lineage named after him, the Bharadwaja Gotra. Tomorrow is Veda-vyāsa's birthday. Lots more to say about him too, the compiler of all the Vedas. So the Vedic system of knowledge and wisdom has existed for eternity, but was too complex and needed some kind of a categorization, which is what Vyasa did, splitting them into four: Rig, Yajus, Sama, and Atharvana, and therefore getting the name Veda-vyāsa, being the son of Parashara Maharishi and the father of Shuka Maharishi. The grandson of Vashishta, who was a brother of Angiras. And therefore, Brihaspati is like an uncle to Veda-vyāsa. It's the uncle's birthday today and the nephew's tomorrow. Veda-vyāsa is also responsible for the creation of the 18 Puranas. Of course, Parashara, his dad, was responsible for one of them, the Vishnu Purana. But this was a simplified storytelling format to understand the Vedas. For those of us with a lower level of intellect, but containing the very same profound truths. So even without going into the Vedas, just by going into the Puranas, which is again a renewal of ourselves. Purana is not the Hindi word meaning old, but a renewed, a fresh one, exactly the opposite in Sanskrit. And of course, the Brahma Sutras is another great contribution by Maharishi Veda-vyāsa. Then, of course, we would have the fiery nara-simhā Jayanti at our Manipuraka Chakra on Tuesday, the Buddha Purnima at our Sahasrara and beyond on Wednesday, and the Narada Jayanti on Friday. So with these so many gurus celebrating these birthdays this week, and of course, the fantastic guru Adi Shankaracharya having celebrated his birthday last week, last Monday, it's right in time to sing the songs of the Guru. Ata Shri Guru Dhyana Stotram Vishvasara Tantram Am Shri Sarvadharma Svarupaya Sarva Sampradaya Svarupaya Sarva Guru Rishi Matrupitru Deva Devi Swarupaya Shri 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 Brihaspatayé Namo Namaha. Am Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. It shows what a comprehensive, holistic redemption of darkness that Brihaspati represents, because it is said in this shloka that Brihaspati, the Guru, is our own creativity, Brahma, is our own sustainability, maintenance and preservation, our own everythingness, Vishnu, the omnipresence. The same Brihaspati is also Deva, Mahadeva, Shiva, the resplendence, the great resplendence, our own nothingness. And it's not just that, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma. That means the one and only truth, the ultimate truth, the eternal principle, the supreme and paramount Parabrahman is also that Guru. Of course, it ought to be, right? Unless our Guru is that, how can that Guru principle expose to us that we are Brahman as well, so that we could say, Aham Brahmasmi. Akhanda mandalakaram vyaptam yena characharam tatpadam darshitam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Akhanda mandalakaram, the entire universe and multiverse. Vyaptam yena characharam, that which is static, still, and that which is dynamic and moving. Be it the tree or the massive planets moving around, the massive galaxies moving around, or be it the electrons moving around, the nucleus of an atom, or the subatomic particles, partly energy, partly matter. They all are but the Guru. Akhanda mandalakaram vyaptam yena charachvaram tatpadam darshitam yena. We want to look at the feet, or rather the path. See the word path and pada? The Sanskrit root of the English word path is padam. Tatpadam darshitam yena. Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. We bow down to that Guru principle, that redemption of our darkness existing in our ninth chakra, traversing all the way from its own home of the Swadhisthana via its exaltation at the Agnya to the Guru Chakra, Guru Gayatri Chakra at the ninth. To that we bow down and surrender, do Sharanagati, recognizing that what we have been thinking of ourselves to be the body, mind, intellect toolkit is but temporary, ephemeral expression of that eternal principle. To that, tat padam darshitam yena, we want to witness that path of the Kundalini Shakti all the way from below the Mooladhara in the tamasic chakras, which Rahu occupies, to the Mooladhara, Swadhisthana, Manipura, Anahata, Vishuddha, Agnya and Sahasrara, and going beyond the physical to the metaphysical Matrupitru Chakra, the 8th and the 9th Guru Gayatri Chakra of Brihaspati. Ekam nityam vimalamachalam sarvadi sakshibhutam bhavatitam trigunarahitam sadgurum tam namami. Ekam, the unified single principle as in Advaita. Nityam, eternal as in Sanatana Dharma. Vimalam, a special kind of filth which is transformative into wealth. Filth into wealth. In fact, that would be the theme of this Friday's song by Vasandima. So I'll not go more into Vimalam or more specially Kamalam, if some of you have got a hint out of that. Achalam, that which is absolutely stationary, static and still, but not stagnant. It's a subtle difference. Ekam nityam vimalam achalam sarvadi sakshibhutam. Sarvadi, seeing everything as a witness, sakshi. Bhutam, the elements. For those of us who have not yet begun to be seekers or who are still seeking at the lower levels, the elements appear as elements, solid, liquid, gas, energy, and space-time. But for those of us far advanced in our seeking into seeing as seers, rishis, and maharishis, like Brahaspati, Sarvadi Sakshibhutam. All the elements also are just witnessed in their original form of dark energy, Mahakali. And its dance from that to dark matter, Mahakala. Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam. Bhavatitam, one who has gone beyond all the emotions. As you know, the mind is the home of emotions. One who has transcended the mind is Bhavatitam, who's gone beyond the bhavas or the emotions, the navarashas. Trigunarahitam, the three qualities of tamas, rajas, and sattva. One who has gone beyond that, obviously because the Mooladhara, Swadhisthana, and Manipura represent rajas. The chakras below that represent tamas. Anahata, Vishuddha, and Agnya, these three of the goddesses represents the dynamic energy of the passionate aggression of rajas. And then this sattva at the Sahasrara, Matru-Pitru Chakra and the Guru Gayatri Chakra. So obviously at the Guru Gayatri Chakra, we are at the peak of sattva and transcending sattva too to become a Trigunatita. Ajnana timirandasya jnananjana shalakaya chakshurun militam yena tasmai shri gurave namaha. Aneka janma samprapta karma bandha vidahine atmajnana pradhanena tasmai shri gurave namaha. Aneka janma, the many lifetimes that we have taken, are currently taking, and perhaps will take in the future if we have not already used this life to attain mukti, moksha, nirvana. Through all of these lifetimes, past, present, and future, through our accidental thoughts, words, and actions, we are creating karma, memories of that action, residues which can create reaction at the right time. Some immediately, some a little while later, some a long, long while later in one of the future births. Aneka janma samprapta karma. Through all these lifetimes, whatever karma we have begotten. Bandha vidahine. What do? They tie up in bandhas, in relationships, in knots, in tangles. Instead of being free like this, it gets entangled. Bandha vidahine, one who redeems us out of those knots of the tangles caused by the karmas of various lives. How? By shining the light of truth. Brihaspati, the spirit of the vast universe, as a guru, redemption of our darkness, which is our own nature at the ninth chakra, if at all we can raise our kundalini all the way up there. Then what does it do? It just dismantles all these knots, disentangles us from these karmic bondages. Of course, to some extent it can be done at the 8th chakra as well. That's why I've been goading you every Amavasya to do the Tarpanam, because by redeeming through the water principle of liquidity our ancestral karmas from various lives and runanubandhas as well, which may not necessarily be ancestral, but all kinds of relationships that we have had. By redeeming all those bondages, we can redeem a lot of our karmas too. That's the role of the Tarpanam. Well, what are we saying here? Aneka janma samprapta karma bandha vidahine. For what? Atmajnana pradhanena. So don't just stop at disentangling the karmas and converting all the actions from accidental in nature to conscious actions, conscious words, spoken words or written words, whatever. Conscious thoughts, full of awareness. And then the karmas become kriyas, no longer create reactions and no longer create bondages and tangles. That's what we are talking about. So what does that lead to? Atmajnana pradhanena. So we get as a dana, as a special dana, pradhana. What? The grace of Atma-jnana, the knowledge and wisdom of our true nature, of being the Atma, the self, the soul, the Parabrahman. Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Agnya Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Ajnana Timirandasya, ignorance. Jnana, Ajnana, opposite of Jnana. Timirandasya, the darkness of ignorance is past. Why? Because Chakshurunmilitam Yena, our eyes have been opened up. Not these two eyes, but the third eye of intuition, either through the vacuum of nothingness inside us, pulling in the third eye lid, or the everythingness at our Anahata Chakra, building up infinite pressure to blow out the third eyelid. Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Mandataha Shri Jagannatho Madguru Shri Jagadguru Mamatma Sarvabhutatma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. What happens under that situation? We get into the reality of all inclusivity. Mamatma Sarvabhutatma. My Atma is the Atma of all the living beings. Sarvabhutatma. There's no distinction like my Atma, your Atma, her Atma, his Atma, their Atma, our Atma. No. There's only one Atma, the Paramatma. Irrespective of whether it is showing up in that bubble of my life or your life. No, it's only one life and only one Atma, the middle finger. Right? Mandataha Shri Jagannatho. My Lord is the Lord of the entire universe as well. Sanatana Dharma is never an exclusive religion. It's always been inclusive. Oh, you have a God? Pass it on. I'll include it in my pantheon of gods. Mamatma Sarvabhutatma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Mannatah Shri Jagannatho Madguru Shri Jagadguru. Again, my Guru is the Guru of the entire universe. Or, another way of looking at it, the entire universe is my Guru. Jagat itself is my Guru. Brahmanandam Paramasukhadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvātītam Gagana Sadrusham Tattvamastyādi Lakshyam. Brahmanandam, the bliss of the eternal principle of oneness, Brahman. Recognizing Aham Brahmasmi automatically brings us into the Satchit Ananda nature, and that Ananda is all about bliss, the ultimate ecstasy of our spiritual nature, the middle finger, the Vishuddhi, the Akasha Tattva, which is also the home of Brahma, the creative nature of Brahman. Brahmanandam Paramasukhadam, Parama, supreme, paramount, Sukham, pleasantness. It's not the happiness which is opposite of sadness, which we go into in cycles in material pleasure. But this is Paramasukadam, the paramount, supreme joy. Brahmanandam Paramasukadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim. In solitude, as an emblem of knowledge and wisdom. Jnanamurtim, Kevalam Jnanamurtim. Dvandvatitam, beyond all dualities and conflicts. The dvandvas, dvandvatitam, we have gone beyond that. Gagana sadrusham, seeing the space-time in its infinite form. The Akasha Tattva, Gagana, the sky. Why do we say the sky is the limit? Because there's no sky, and which means we are limitless. Sky is an illusion. The blue sky that we see when we go out is but an illusion, because space-time is vast and infinite. It's the canvas on which we are dancing through our lives. And that is what is referred to here. Brahmanandam Paramasukadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gagana Sadrusham. So that Guru Tattva is appearing like the infinite space-time canvas, because that's what it is. It's not apparent. That is the reality. Tattvamasyadi lakshyam. Tattvamasi is the second of the Mahavakyas. Prajnanam Brahma, Tattvamasi, Ayam Atma Brahma, Aham Brahmasmi. So Tattvamasi is that thou art. That means that eternal principle you are. And we are saying Tattvamasyadi lakshyam. Lakshyam, target. That is the nature and target of our Guru principle, Guru Tattva, to show us all who are willing disciples of the Guru Tattva at our ninth chakra. It shows us that thou art. The Brahman, I, the Guru, and you, the Shishya, are not different at all at our very basic nature. We are all the same entity. Dhyanamoolam Guror Murti Pooja-moolam Guro Padam Mantra-moolam Guror Vakyam Moksha-moolam Guro Krupa. Dhyanamoolam, the root of meditation, is the Guru's form, Guror Murti. The form of the Guru helps us in dharana and even going beyond that concentration into a state of no thought, no mind, the meditative state of full awareness and consciousness while being fully relaxed. That is the meaning of Dhyanamoolam Guror Murti. Puja-moolam Guro Padam. Puja, I already told you yesterday in Vasanta Kumari Sampath's channel, is Punarjayati, the puja. That is, we go back to our source, renewing our source, which is Parabrahman. So, Puja Moolam, the root of such a puja is Guru Padam, the feet of the Guru or the path of the Guru, the footprints that normal people leave, the Guru never leaves. Because he's always high flying. While flying, we cannot leave footprints. The birds never leave footprints unless they're walking on the ground. When they are flying, they leave just a wake behind them to help other birds fly easily. And after some time, the wake disappears as well. Nothing remains. So the path of the Guru is like that. It just shows us in a flash the path which can succeed so that we can choose our own path depending on our own initial conditions, which may not be the same as that of the Guru. But once we recognize that Guru is not the outer principle of a Guru, either living or who has attained Mahasamadhi already, but our own ninth chakra, then we know that its initial condition and our initial condition are one and the same, and we can follow it. That's why we can take that path. Dhyana Moolam Gurur Murti Puja Moolam Guru Padam Mantra Moolam Gurur Vakyam. Mantra Moolam Gurur Vakyam. The root of mantras is the word of the Guru. Whatever the Guru speaks itself becomes a mantra. That's how the Vedic chants have all come across, because the great seers, Maharishis, just heard the Akashic sounds. Sounds are usually heard by the vibration of matter. But in vacuum, in Akasha, there are sounds which can be heard only by the third ear. It's not just a concept of third eye, but a third ear. These two ears can hear only that which vibrates through solid, liquid, and gas. These sounds. But that which comes through vacuum, only the third ear can hear. And we need to open up that too. And that's where the origin of mantras is. And it is since those Maharishis have heard that and are revealing it through their mouths, vibrating the solid, liquid, and gas, and this reaching to us. So therefore, we can recognize that itself as the mantra, their very words. Moksha Moolam Guru Kripa. The grace of the Guru, the omnipresent, omnipotent grace of the Guru, eternal grace of the Guru, is there for all, just like the air is there. Whether you want to breathe or not, it's your choice. If you breathe, you live on until your lifetime comes to an end. But if you choose not to breathe, you die right now. Grace is also like that. It's there, here and now, all the time, everywhere. Just that we need to be open to it. That's why Moksha Moolam Guru Kripa. Because that grace is the very root of moksha. The liberation, mukti, nirvana from the cycle of births and deaths. Adi Guru, Advaita Guru, Ananda Guru, Aum. Chit Guru, Chitgana Guru, Chinmaya Guru, Aum. Jaya Guru, Shiva Guru, Hari Guru, Ram. Jagat Guru, Param Guru, Sat Guru, Sham. Aum Mangalam, Aum Kara Mangalam. Guru Mangalam, Guru Pada Mangalam. Jai Gurudev. Aum Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Dattatreya, 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 pahi mam. Datta Guru, Datta Guru, Datta Guru, Rakshamam. Om Shri Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Pujaya Raghavendraya Satyadharmarataya Cha Bhajatam Kalpavrikshaya Namatam Kamadhenave Dhurvadidvantaravaye Vaishnavendi Varendave Shri Raghavendra Gurave Namo Atyanta Dayalave. Om Sai Shri Sai Jai Jai Sai. 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 Shri Sai Charanam Sharanam Mama. Shri Sai Charanam Sharanam Mama. Shri Sai Charanam Sharanam Mama. Samatta Sadguru Sainath Maharaj Ki Jai. Samatta Sadguru véda-vyāsa Maharaj Ki Jai. Samatta Sadguru Shri Soura nara-simhā Namo namaha. Samatta Sadguru Shri Buddham Sharanam Gacchami. Dhammam Sharanam Gacchami. Sangam Sharanam Gacchami. Samatta Sadguru Shri Naradā Maharishye Namo namaha. Om Brim brihaspatayé namaha. Swasti no brihaspatir dadatu. Swasti no brihaspatir dadatu. Swasti no brihaspatir dadatu. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.